The Taliban has surprised the world with the scale and ambition of the projects now underway in Afghanistan. What has been described by analysts is not simply construction, but control. Control of water that sustains agriculture, of energy that lights cities and fuels economies, and of minerals worth trillions of dollars hidden beneath the soil. It has been observed that global powers, especially China, have long had their eyes on these same resources. Commentators have argued that if these projects succeed, Afghanistan could be transformed into a regional powerhouse. If they fail, the consequences could destabilize much of Central and South Asia. Among the developments, one has been noted as the largest of its kind in Asia. Others are tied directly into international trade routes that connect China, Pakistan, Iran, and the former Soviet republics. Reports suggest that Beijing has already begun quietly expanding a $60 billion economic corridor into Afghanistan, linking Chinese markets directly with Afghan resources. In effect, Afghanistan's geography is being turned from a burden into its greatest advantage. One of the most striking examples lies 400 kilometers north of Kabul. Here, in barren desert terrain, the Kush Tepa Canal project is taking shape. Specialists have pointed out that it will be the largest man-made canal in desert conditions anywhere in the region, stretching wider than California's famed aqueduct. It is expected to divert 1/5 of the Amu Darya River's water, carrying it across Afghanistan's northern plains. The scale is immense. More than 500,000 hectares of farmland could be irrigated, an area larger than the entire state of Delaware. Agricultural experts have calculated that such an expansion would increase Afghanistan's cultivable land by 1/3, offering a chance to achieve food self-sufficiency for the first time in modern history. Reports from the site suggest that more than 6,000 workers are digging around the clock, operating heavy excavators in harsh desert conditions. The overall project is expected to cost nearly $700 million, and it has been confirmed that the Taliban has already committed an additional $100 million of its own funds to ensure completion. Observers have taken this as a sign that the leadership intends to transform the country's economy rather than rely solely on foreign donors. But water is never simply an internal matter. Regional unease has already surfaced. Both Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan rely on the Amu Darya River for irrigating their cotton fields. Diplomats have quietly voiced concern that Afghanistan's diversion of water could threaten livelihoods beyond its borders. In response, Afghan officials have made it clear that the country will take its share of the river's resources, regardless of objections. Analysts have said this represents a new form of leverage. For decades, Afghanistan has been dependent on its neighbors. Now it is beginning to control the very resources that others cannot do without. This strategy has also extended to dams. Work has resumed on projects such as the Bakhshabad Dam, even while disputes with Iran over water rights remain unresolved. Experts have observed that dams provide multiple advantages. They generate hydroelectricity, they irrigate farmland, and they give Kabul bargaining power over downstream countries. A shift in tone has also been noticed. Unlike the previous U.S.-backed administration, which was widely criticized for mismanagement and corruption, the Taliban appears to be directing resources with more discipline. Construction is being completed, corruption has reportedly been reduced, and funds are being channeled into visible infrastructure. Beyond water and energy, an even more ambitious undertaking is underway: the creation of Kabul New City. Covering more than 700 square kilometers, this project has been described as one of the largest planned urban developments in Asia. Plans call for 250,000 housing units capable of accommodating up to 3 million people. Observers have explained that the aim is to relieve overcrowding in present-day Kabul while creating a modern hub of education, healthcare, commerce, and recreation. Documents show that Phase 1 of the project is divided into more than 200 districts, with construction already progressing in several areas. Hundreds of millions of dollars of investment have been allocated, including a $700 million section begun in 2024. If realized, the city would contain universities, hospitals, shopping centers, parks, and green zones, supported by roads, schools, and modern utilities. Urban planners have remarked that the project is not simply about housing, but about reshaping Afghanistan's image and lifestyle. Afghanistan's geography remains its most valuable asset. Analysts often describe the country as a crossroads of Asia, a bridge between the Middle East, South Asia, and Central Asia. The Taliban has sought to capitalize on this position. In 2025, a trilateral agreement was signed with China and Pakistan to extend the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor into Afghanistan. This $60 billion network of roads, railways, and pipelines would connect China's Xinjiang province through Pakistan to Afghanistan's interior, giving Beijing direct access to both Afghan markets and mineral wealth. Simultaneously, the Trans-Afghan Railway project has been planned at a cost of nearly $5 billion. Stretching more than 500 kilometers, it will connect Uzbekistan to Pakistan through Afghan territory, reducing trade times from over a month to only 4 days. Engineers have acknowledged that more than 300 bridges and 5 major tunnels will be required to cut through Afghanistan's mountainous terrain. Meanwhile, the Khaf-Herat Railway linking Afghanistan to Iran became operational in 2023, with the first cargo of more than 600 tons of equipment successfully transported. Commentators have said this line gives Afghanistan access to Iranian ports and, by extension, global shipping routes. Energy infrastructure is returning to the agenda as well. The long-stalled Tapi pipeline, designed to deliver natural gas from Turkmenistan through Afghanistan to Pakistan and India, has been restarted. In September 2024, Afghan officials announced that work had resumed on their portion of the pipeline, following ceremonies with Turkmen representatives. The project is valued at $10 billion and, once complete, is expected to transport more than 30 billion cubic meters of gas annually. Economists have estimated that Afghanistan could earn close to $1 billion each year in transit fees and related revenue, while creating thousands of jobs. Historians have pointed out that the original deal for the pipeline had been negotiated with the Taliban as far back in 1998, before international events changed the course of history. Another example is CASA 1000, a $1.2 billion electricity transmission project. The system is designed to bring surplus hydroelectric power from Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan southward through Afghanistan into Pakistan. The arrangement would supply electricity to more than 1 million homes, with Afghanistan entitled to retain a share for its own use. In 2024, the World Bank approved the continuation of this project despite not recognizing the Taliban government, creating a special mechanism to keep financial flows outside direct Taliban control while allowing construction to proceed. Analysts have described this as a pragmatic compromise. The world may not officially engage with Afghanistan's rulers, but it cannot afford to ignore the country's role in regional infrastructure. Attention has also returned to the nation's vast mineral wealth. Geological surveys have long suggested that Afghanistan sits atop resources worth trillions of dollars, including lithium, essential for electric car batteries, copper for electronics, and rare earth elements vital for modern technology. The Ayanak copper mine near Kabul has been leased to Chinese companies for years, but operations were repeatedly delayed. In mid-2024, it was reported that work had finally begun in earnest, with the Taliban providing security and logistics support that previous governments had failed to guarantee. Revenue collection has already increased. According to international financial institutions, Afghanistan earned more than $1.5 billion in taxes in 2022, much of it linked to mining and construction industries. Observers believe that these funds are being reinvested into infrastructure projects, creating a cycle in which resource wealth finances roads, tunnels, and canals, which in turn make further resource extraction possible. One project illustrates this new cycle clearly: the Salang Tunnel. Built by Soviet engineers in the 1960s, it has long been regarded as one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Narrow, poorly ventilated, and vulnerable to avalanches,